I have a question. I just want to extend my compassion for, I cannot imagine being in solitary confinement, period, at 19 for something so fucking stupid. I'm going to resist the urge to drill into that. When you dove into like what was pushing the psychedelic movement and you found this like shit ton of money, from your research, is the money pushing this just for greed and profit? Is there a mind control aspect? What have you discovered?
Well, it's very clearly documented that, I mean, the CIA and the military 100% have a long history of uh, interest in these drugs, like literally for mind control. If you actually read the declassified papers from the CIA and stuff, like that is exactly what they were trying to do with these drugs. And it sounds out there to some people, and I understand that, because it, even to me personally, like, okay, so it definitely is the money, and then the mind control thing. I I used to think that that was not significant. Like when I got into the activism, I was aware that the CIA had a history with these drugs, but I didn't think it was that important, because that's what the narrative and all the books and all the newspaper articles say. It's like, yeah, the CIA did some stuff, but it wasn't anything really important. And then they stopped, and it's in history now. So that's what I believed about it. But as I got more involved in the scene, and I realized like so much of the research scene is like it's like joined at the hip with the Department of Defense. And oh yeah, like and I mean, what's crazy is like all this information is actually just out there, but like we have all been taught to see these drugs as like the next big thing, and like they're natural, so they're good for us, and there's something different from big pharma. But in reality, the whole thing is essentially, I mean, I'm not trying to over generalize here, but this movement is, and I'm talking here, so I'll shut up and turn it back to you. But basically, like, this industry is like a marketing pitch for pharma, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who are calling the shots, and they're the ones who are going to be making the money. If you look at the boards of the companies that are doing all this research, they're all from huge, big pharma companies that have, anyway. So, and then as for the mind control, yes, and we can get into that. So, and then the other thing that we can talk about is the use of drugs to control people's like perception and behavior from an authoritarian angle actually dates back to for sure ancient Greece and arguably ancient Egypt, also known as Kemet. And I'm happy to break down the history. That's part of what I get into in my new book, is that there's actually a history of the ruling class employing drugs for social order from the beginning. Like, this is not anything new. So anyway, that was kind of a long-winded way of answering that very short question, but yeah. So I don't know what we want to get into next, if we want to talk about the Ukraine stuff, or
thank you for that, and don't feel free to speak long and a lot. Danny and I are very long-winded, and we're talking all the time, so we definitely get our 2 cents in every way, and we have you here today because we want to hear from you. So don't worry about that. Couple of things. We would love to explore all of the stuff that you were laying down in probably future shows together, and maybe on each of our own podcasts, because we each have different tacks we take with this. Danny has her own history with psychedelics and like her experiences, plus what she thinks is going on based on the social scenes she's been a part of. And my own, probably like my contribution to whatever this is we do here has been like exposure of the lesser known aspects of mind control and MK Ultra and sort of deep black projects, like not the ones everybody knows about, but the ones that those are there because you're allowed to talk about them while there's like way weirder shit going on.
course. Yeah.
So that has been like probably like the sort of connective thread of all my work, even though I go into like a lot of different topics. So I know we would like to explore all of that, but just because you brought up the topic of, are you still living in DC now?
Yes.
DC is one of the first places that is it legalized or just decriminalized?
So depending on who you asked,